Ross. Wasn't he amazing? Hey, wasn't he something? I was a big fan of Bob Ross. Before I get into it, I went to Subway, got a lovely rice bowl. If I get the lid off, I'll show you what it looks like. There we are. That was no effort, was it? Put that over there. Oh, that's amazing. Can you see that? Can you see that? Is that lovely? Wow. Got some Dorito chips. Go like this, crunch them up. I got the sweet teriyaki. Southwest chicken with chipotle. Oh, what am I doing here? Put that over there. Got a couple of Tropicana orange. I used to get one just wasn't enough. Okay. So. Oh, and for dessert, my last Nanaimo bar. Okay. Before I get started. Action Thompson turns 33 on July 4th. Action Thompson. Happy birthday, my friend. Action Thompson turns 33 on July 4th. Punchline Press has a birthday July 3rd. So happy birthday, Punchline Press. July 3rd birthday. Thank you so much for your support of my channel. To both you lovely people. And a big shout out to all of you people out there. And a big shout out to my neighbors to the south, the United States. July 4th is their Independence Day. Big celebration for the United States. Always this every year, July 4th. Lots of fireworks, parades, I guess, and whatever else. Anyways, also July 4th, Bob Ross passed away. July 4th, 1995. So, now, just let me have a couple bites here. I'm starving. This is so good. Now you'll notice I'm wearing a Bob Ross t-shirt. It's actually a Christmas t-shirt, but what the heck? It's still Bob Ross. Still got Bob. I got it for Christmas there a few years ago. And I got a picture of myself with Bob Ross. It's actually a cutout. That was taken a few years ago too. I was minus my mustache. That was down in Victoria. Victoria's the capital city of British Columbia. It's located 90 minutes south of where I live on the southmost point of Vancouver Island. And Linda and I go down there at Christmas time. Not every year, but we'll get a hotel room for a couple of nights, usually mid-December. You know, go to Bouchard Gardens, the IMAX, eat in some fine restaurants, and, you know, do Christmas shopping, that sort of thing. So there's one mall we went to had a cut out of Bob Ross. Can't remember what the deal was, but I guess it was like a joy painting thing or something. It's been 30 years since he's gone. I can't believe it's been 30 years. I remember where I was when I heard the news too. But I'm not going to sit here and rattle off a bunch of statistics like his whole bio and all that. You can get that online, you know. I want to talk about how Bob Ross affected me personally. The effect he had on me. said, when I heard he passed away, I was on my way to take my kids on a boating trip. We had our boat. There's me and my 3 kids. My oldest boy in '95. He was still 9 years old. He was on the verge of his 10th birthday, but technically he was 9. And my youngest was 5. So myself and my 3 kids. Took our boat down to we're surrounded by Gulf Islands. I mean, I live on an island, but it's a big island. But we're surrounded by smaller islands, like a lot of places are. And we took our boat down to the Bender Islands, that's North and South Bender, and we anchored there. Something chewy there. Little bits of lumber or something. So anyways, the night before we had gone down to Galliano Island, spent the night there. We would stay a couple of nights at the Bender Islands and go to Salt Spring Island, then come home. So earlier that day, I had heard that Bob Ross had passed away. I remember telling my kids, and they were more than surprised. I mean, I guess they were pretty much shocked because they just couldn't believe it. I remember my daughter saying, "Will he still be on TV? Can we still watch him?" I said, "Of course." I said, "All the shows are videotaped," and she understood videotape because I had a videotape camera myself. And I actually had it on that trip. I took it everywhere. So starting at the beginning, how I first discovered Bob Ross. Like everyone else, probably just channel surfing. I liked watching the Knowledge Network and PBS and all that. They always had interesting programming, a lot of local stuff. Things that were away from the mainstream, kind of, I remember flipping around on the channels, and I came across Bob Ross. He's painting away. I remember thinking he was just some local hippie dude down the TV station. Well, of course, it turns out he was more than that. But I remember watching him and being utterly fascinated. I mean, I probably tuned in halfway through his half-hour program, and he's just painting this amazing picture. But what really his voice was so relaxing. And of course, I remember thinking, who is this dude? Like, what is this? So I remember watching the program. I guess maybe a few days or a week later, I'm flipping around and he's on there again. I remember my ex-wife sat down, she started watching. And then my kids came into the room. Next thing you know, the whole family is watching this guy. They were all sitting there, completely quiet, in awe of this man. I mean, it's one thing that he could paint these amazing pictures, but he was just, like I said, so relaxed, so gentle, so subdued, I found it very relaxing. Honestly, this stuff on YouTube now or on Facebook, when I see it, especially if it's like politics and stuff, I know it's going to make me angry. So I can't even watch it, because it'll just make me angry, get me all tense, ruin my day. Bob Ross had the complete opposite effect. Watching that man paint and just listening to his voice would just make my day. I remember, I guess around 2009, 2010, I remember because I was still renting. I bought my condo in 2011. I was still renting, so I remember my daughter was living with me for a short time, and I said, "Remember Bob Ross? That guy used to paint. Used to like when you were a little kid." She goes, "Oh yeah." I still see him on YouTube. I Google him a lot and still watch him. That's cool. Then, a short time later, I remember, maybe it's like a month later or something, I took both my boys out for dinner, and we were talking, we were having pizza or something, and I just had to mention that, and they said, "Oh yeah, we still watch him too." And I thought, wow, that's cool. My kids were still watching it. So, I started Googling Bob. Just come up on YouTube or whatever. I would put on the headphones and I'd watch episode after episode after episode. Such a nice man, showing video of his, the little squirrels that he would feed on his property, and his son would be out there sometimes painting. up like that all the time. I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, I saw an interview with Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers. His wife was even saying that. There's times he would lose his temper. It's hard to believe or hard to imagine, but human beings are human beings, right? What was interesting, I started surfing the net looking for Bob Ross. That's how I discovered ASMR online. I'd never heard that term ASMR before. I just thought it was those sounds that only I enjoyed, I said many times I thought I was the only weirdo in the world, right? Not really. Nothing weird about it. But that was how I felt personally. I was the only one that liked, hey, they don't put those little tabs there anymore. That's how I felt. When I discovered ASMR online by surfing Bob Ross videos, I really became intrigued with it. And I said someday I wanted to do that. Now there's a saturation of it, but back then, there wasn't as many. But that was how I discovered ASMR, was through Bob Ross. Now, it's very popular. Like I said, there's a saturation. So we've discovered by now, through something else, obviously, because sometimes it just pops up, right? I thought it was so cool that after all these years, my kids still remembered watching that when they were little. And as adults, they would actually seek them out online. Because those are very soothing memories of when they were kids. This is a good bowl. Quite often, Linda and I will make rice bowls at home. Usually this time of year when the garden is bountiful. Pick all our herbs fresh from our garden, all our vegetables. If we don't have wild rice or basmati or something, all we have is white rice. reason we have the rice bowls because we have leftover rice we want to use up. So we'll cook up some chicken. Take the chicken out when it's finished, throw the rice in there. Just give it like a light stir fry, kind of brown it up a bit, give it some flavor. And use our Bob passed away. Bob Ross passed away quite young. Early 50s, either 52 or 54. Early 50s anyway. We have a local guy who paints on TV. He's very good. He's a Dutch guy. And I like listening to him and watching him. He doesn't try to be Bob Ross, nothing like that. He has a gallery, plus he teaches painting. He's very good. A lot of times the stuff he does on his show is nothing compared to some of the stuff that he's done, on his own time. Because those things, some of those paintings, instead of taking him years, months and years, the ones he does on his show are like a 7.5 hour type thing. Now, like Bob Ross, he's very involved with animals. He supports a local sanctuary, animal sanctuary, for rescued animals and rescued and injured animals. That was delicious. They do a good job of those. Very good job. It's kind of funny, the young lady who works there, she's been there for years, but I know she just doesn't pay attention if her mind wanders, but I make it very easy. I just say I'll have this bowl of that sandwich. I'll have everything except lettuce. Okay. Would you say one on again? Lettuce. I said no, everything except lettuce. And what kind of cheese? I'll say that maybe that white authority or whatever. Okay, just put stuff on. What kind of cheese you say? It just, even when I got these, I said I'll have 2. So she goes to grab one and said, you said 2. I said, yeah. Now, maybe she doesn't hear very well or something. Not sure, but it's just kind of funny. tell me the effect he had on you, or how you first heard of Bob Ross, the first time you saw him painting, or your thoughts, or maybe some of you had a chance to meet him. Maybe there's a fun fact you can share. Maybe you took up painting because of Bob Ross, Or maybe you became a better person. But it's funny, I said, when I was looking for, when I kind of fleetingly decided, or I toyed with the idea of doing an impersonation of Bob, like painting and all that, there's no way I could find that type of hair. Probably have to wait till Halloween and get some clown hair or something. Well, that was good. Excellent rice bowl. Excellent banana bar. I love Tropicana. Dorito chips are always good. These are nice sturdy little bowls. I like these. Well, that's it. So, you look after yourselves, look after each other. And all you people having birthdays, happy birthday to you. Once again, all you people in the United States or wherever celebrating Independence Day, all the best to you. Enjoy yourself, stay safe, and stay amazing out there in the land of awesome. And we'll see you next time, okay? Bye, my friends.